I'm glad you joined us today for Paws Up for Success. Paws Up is designed for families to enjoy their dogs in safer ways. Today we're going to meet special friends, build our relationships with our dogs, make a treat, play some games, and then I'll provide some training tips. Here!
Hi everyone.
Hi, hey, it's Amani, welcome. Oh, look who wants to go see Amani. Everybody does. I wonder what a dog thinks.
I wonder what a dog thinks too.
You know, it's the holidays, and the holidays are like strange for us sometimes, but think about being a dog and what the world looks like to the dog. Should we explore that?
Yes.
I think so too. Bad things. So we want to keep all of this kind of stuff far away too. Now I got one for you. What if during the holidays one of the things we do is we have lights on our tree? Sometimes we don't. We have to have the lights, the cords go around, right? The cords go around the lights? Okay, so if the cords are going around, what if a puppy was biting on the electrical cords? What could happen if he bit on the electrical cords?
He could get electrocuted.
He could. So if he was thinking that was a chew toy and he was biting on those, if he was doing that and he could get electrocuted, that would be really bad. So I'm going to give you a trick, okay? You could get a PVC pipe, which is one of those plastic pipes, and you could line it behind your tree. You could even paint it green or black if you match your kitchen or bathroom or bedroom or living room where you have your tree. Probably don't have your tree in your bathroom, right? No. Okay. So you put the cord in there, and now guess what? With the cord in the PVC pipe, the doggy can't get it, can he?
No.
All right. So what do we got here? We got all these presents. Hey, Amani, you like chocolates?
Yes.
Do you like them with cherries and good gooey stuffing? Do you like all kinds of chocolates?
Yes.
Well, you know what? What would happen if I put this box of chocolates under the tree?
A dog would get it
Yes. Why would the dog get it?
to eat it.
Because, could the dog smell it? I can't smell it. Can you smell it? But guess what? Dogs smell 10,000 times more than we do. So if we wrap our chocolates, guess what happens? I tell you,
The dogs get it.
the dogs get it. You know what? I have a dog story for you. I had a dog, and his name was Abraham, and we called him a criminal because he was a criminal. And one day, I had wrapped all these presents to give to people that were chocolates for businesses. And I was going to take those chocolates to people, and I was excited about it. Guess what happened? I went in the room that the dog is never, ever, ever allowed to go in, and I picked up all the boxes, and they weren't heavy anymore. Guess what the dog did? He'd eaten all the chocolates out of the bottom of the boxes and left them in a stack for me, and nobody knew. Okay? Now, that could have killed a dog. Luckily, they were milk chocolates, all right? Dark chocolate, baker's chocolate, all that kind of chocolate is very, very dangerous for your dog. If a dog gets into dark chocolate, please call your veterinary poison control right away. But do not wrap chocolates. I learned for myself, do not wrap chocolates and put them under the tree. Good idea? Good. How many of you buy presents for your dogs? I know I do. And I make sure that my dogs know that those are their presents. That this one is a Leave It. And these are all Leave It's. But guess what? This present isn't a Leave It. It's an okay present. It's a present for your dog. It's safe. It's tight. They're not going to get anything in their stomach. And this is not a Leave It. This is the present for the dog. And it's a lammy, and it's well-loved kind of little thing. So, you know, this is not going to be torn up as easily. We don't want Moose to go. We need to have specific things for our dogs that they know are theirs. So if this is in their pile, and none of these they can touch, and you've got Leave-Its on it, they can come and get their little 2 presents and take them out. And then they just go back for the Christmas season.
I wonder what a dog would think.
We're not going to put under the tree our food and chocolate. Okay, so today we're going to make some doggone easy cookies. You can use any kind of flour. I'm using gluten-free here because the dog I'm working with can't have wheat, so we've chosen a gluten-free flour. I've got a little bit of milk. You don't have to use milk. You can also use water. And I've got baby food. It's going to be so easy you're not hardly going to believe it, and it'll make some cookies that the dogs are going to love. So I guess I got to get this open first. Sam, we're going to start again. This is not open. All right. Ready to go? All right. Ooh, I shouldn't have used blue. I'm going to have to put the blue over here. All right, so. Okay, so today we're going to make some doggone easy cookies. This is, I've got gluten-free flour because the dog I'm working with cannot eat gluten, so this is a gluten-free flour. You can get it at Aldi. I've got a little bit of milk. If you don't need to use milk, you can use water. And I'm not going to use too much. I'm going to use just a little bit. And I've got baby food. So we're going to start with the dry ingredients. And for my equipment, I've got a fork. I've got a slightly greased pan that I've greased up right now to hold the cookies because we're going to bake them in an oven that's preheated at 350. So you can go and do that right now. And we're going to use measuring cup set. And the one I need is the Big Daddy one, the full cup. And I usually like to pour it over the thing. It doesn't have to be, perfect. These are dog treats. This is not baking a cake or bread or something like that. Of course, things don't ever want to come out when you're shooting on television. So this is a mixture of rice and potato and a number of other kinds of things, but it's basically gluten-free. And it does give a little bit of binding for the dog. So there we go. There's a cup. Put that back in there. And now all you're going to do, this is so easy, you're going to add the baby food. Now this is blueberry. And you can buy, I've made chicken cookies. In fact, we'll show you some chicken cookies at the end of the show. You can make applesauce cookies, any kind of thing that your dog likes the flavor. They do like apples. They do like roast beef. Baby food works wonderfully. See how it will stir up. What it should do is make pretty much just like a cookie mix. And these will be a little bit pink, a little purpley colored. If we need a little bit of milk, we'll add it. We may not need milk with this one. Some depends upon the baby food. Some of the baby foods are a little bit more liquid. Some of the meats are a little bit more dense. But I just take that fork and I kind of smash it in there, get all that flour worked together. You can use coconut flour if you want. You can use wheat flour if you've got some at home. I tend to like some of the other flours better. Now the next piece is just like making peanut butter cookies. So you're just going to take that cookie, you're just going to roll that cookie and put it right here on the tray. So all we're going to do is make a bunch of little cookies here. And make a bunch of little balls, and the cookies, they don't cook real hard. I mean, you can cook them longer and get a little bit harder cookie. I tend to like them a little bit softer so I can break them up when I'm training. They're a little bit easier for them to chew. And it's about, they're about, I suppose, about quarter size. So they're not real big. They're not something that's, hard to handle in your pocket or your training pouch. And the ingredients are good if a baby can eat it, and the gluten-free flour is just fine. And again, it doesn't matter really what flour. I'll put the recipe up on there, and you can copy it down. We'll leave it up for a few seconds so that it's easy to copy. All the recipes we use here at Positive for Success are able for kids to make. They're easy. If we're using a knife, there's free knife classes actually, and I'll put a link for that so that you can teach your children to use sharp things. And that's pretty much it. So you can see that is one cup, and out of that 1 cup we're going to get, I guess I'm going to have to make one more cookie here. See how many we get. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cookies, and we've probably spent about $2. So you can go like this with your fingers. That's one way. You can do the old peanut butter routine, crisscross, which is kind of fun. You can poke it down like that and add puppy paws if you want to add puppy paws. You know, let your kids kind of figure out what they want to do. It's just kind of fun to play with them. I kind of like the crisscross peanut butter cookies. So these are blueberry cookies. My guys tend to really like the blueberry cookies. So that's all you got to do. And just take this and we're going to pop it in the oven and we'll have cookies. Got to clean up the kitchen, I guess. Yeah. Okay, let's just take the cookies out of the oven and see what we've got. I know, they are not blueberry. These are the cookies I made earlier in the day, and these are chicken cookies. They've got a little bit of, they were made with whole wheat flour, and they were made with chicken, baby food chicken, and I add a little bit of Parmesan cheese. So you can do some different things with these, and my guys love them. In fact, there was a great escape today. They were up in their dog bedroom, which is on our balcony, and they broke the baby gate down and came charging down as I was making all the cookies to have a taste. I caught them in the act, and they looked at me like, Mom, how could you catch us? We wanted some of this stuff. So anyway, bon appetit. Oh, Judy, it's been so long since I've seen you.
I know, this is wonderful.
I know, and we're almost done with our getting ready to go to Salvation Army. I've got one thing left to do.
Oh, good.
And then I can maybe join you on some of these adventures. Anyway,
Good.
I have to introduce you a good friend. This is Judy Rue, and this is Annie. I don't know which one is my better friend as a dog trainer, but they're both awesome ladies.
Arf.
Anyway, Judy has been a member of Salvation Army and Emergency Services. Hi, Annie. Where are you going? And Emergency Services for how long?
About 4 years.
But before that, you did some emergency work.
Well, before that, I was in emergency management, and I ate Salvation Army hot dogs.
You ate Salvation hot dogs?
Because the Salvation Army feeds people at disasters, among other things.
Oh, you mean like what kind of disasters? Like hurricanes?
Well, for instance, yes, hurricanes.
Okay.
In fact, in hurricanes for Katrina, there were crews from Minnesota that went down there.
Wow.
But for an even closer example, the tornadoes in North Minneapolis.
Oh.
We had canteens over there feeding
Okay.
people that didn't have, no refrigerator, no.
Oh, sure. The refrigeration's gone.
Nothing.
So you were, but you were just not just feeding the emergency workers. You were feeding the families and.
In those cases, we feed the families too.
Oh,
Yes.
well, that would be really nice because that would be really nice because you're hungry and
Yes.
you've lost everything and it's miserable.
And a bottle of water and a hot dog.
It does something even if it's a bottle of water or a hot dog,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
It feeds.
Exactly.
Feeds the body as well as the soul.
Yeah. Now it's the holidays, and one of the things that happens on holidays is Salvation Army gets very visible because you've got all those bell ringers ringing the bells at the different things, and you're sticking money in those little red kettles. What does that do? I mean, why? I throw coins in there. What do the coins do?
Well, the Salvation Army is an international organization.
Okay.
So it is literally all over the world.
There you go, little bug.
Hey, Bob, you gonna go all over the world? And
I'd like to go with you tomorrow.
yes, and there are a number of projects or programs that the Salvation Army has. There's the human services side where they house the homeless. They help with the people who have, you know, some addictions of whatever kind. The one that I'm most involved with is emergency disaster services.
Okay.
And that's where something happens, and usually it's a call in the middle of the night that there's a big fire, there's a lot of firefighters, they're getting cold and hungry, and so we make, well, in this case, it's coffee and hot dogs.
But again, if you're cold, you're hungry, you want to get warm, it's dangerous for those firefighters to fight. And they're alone. I mean, they're alone doing this job, and you're there for them, and I bet they appreciate that.
It feels so weird when they say thank you to us when we are the ones that owe the debt to them.
Okay, so let me say this. You get a call at like 3 o'clock in the morning for a fire at 20 below zero. You get up, get your clothes on, get your boots on, and you go to the canteen and go feed hot dogs and coffee.
Load it up, start the coffee pot going, because as soon as we get there, they're going to want coffee.
Yeah.
And we stay there until they don't need us anymore.
Wow. Wow. Now, I've also heard that sometimes you'll bring actually buses, and you'll make sure that the families have blankets and that have to be evacuated out of like an apartment. They'll actually be put into a bus where they can stay warm and until someone can help them. Is that true?
That's true, that the local fire department will do that. And
Okay.
then when people are warm and sheltered in the bus, then we bring them
Hot dogs.
hot dogs. Hey, there was one where I made meatball sandwiches.
Did you really? Well, and I've heard sometimes that's true. Sometimes that you do hook up with some of the chefs in the area, and for some of the things that actually do other food for different kinds of things.
And that's mostly at the at like Harbor Lights or the Citadel, where there's a more stable population, where you kind of know how much food you're going to need for the day and that kind of thing, where you can plan, because you can't really plan on a canteen.
Well, I'm going to ask you too, because when I give my money to a charity, I want to make sure that my money goes to the people that I'm giving it to, that it makes a difference. What percent? I mean, how much overhead does Salvation Army have?
Salvation Army, well, we are rated A. We have an A rating from Charity Watch.
Okay.
.org, so you can go there and
For any charity,
look
go to
that up.
CharityWatch.org and check it out. Check
Yes.
out what who are you giving to?
Yes, which I think means that the money given, it's over 90%.
Okay.
You know, that goes.
That's good.
There's about 10% overhead because
You got to be able to.
we're volunteers.
Yeah, and you've got to hold that canteen, and you've got to make sure that. Yeah, but you're basically, the whole thing is a volunteer group with a small amount of staff overhead.
Yes. Yes.
And I think what's really interesting is when I went to your classes, it's all run logistically so incredible. I mean, seriously, when they have to pull out for a small event or a big event, logistically everyone has their job, everyone has their task, everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to do, and it comes together as a team and it just functions.
And then when we get there, we plug into the incident command system, because we're all trained in that, and everything just keeps
going.
keeps
So
going.
if FEMA came out, you'd be able to plug into FEMA for a major disaster and they'd know your part, you'd know their part, and would just all work together.
Yes.
And that's awesome. That's really awesome. Well, thank you for coming out. I guess, you're going to see those bell ringers and you got change in your pocket. I want that stuff stuck in there for these people, so we really appreciate it.
Yes, we make good use of it.
I'm sure you do. Thank you. During the holidays, Judy, a lot of times we have nuts on the table. And this is double whammy for Annie, because of course we know that Annie pulls things off, but not only do nuts sometimes hurt them because they can bite them into them and then they break, the pieces would get into their stomach and cause intestinal issues. But the little squirrel nutcracker, she'd like to have that, because she'd probably like to get it and she could grab this thing. So this little place would go. So
she would pull this.
yes,
like that
right off.
until-
Yes, exactly. Until it fell over, and this probably could also conquer because it's cast iron. Annie would be attacked by a squirrel. But anyway, so what we wanted to tell you basically is, if you're putting nuts out on the table and you have a dog, please use caution. They're wonderfully crunchy. They're wonderfully to bite. They look like chewies. They feel like balls, and they can be really dangerous for their intestines. So please use caution and put those up. When you're done eating them, put it someplace where the dog can't get there. It's sometimes hard in the holidays. You go to bed, you're tired, you're exhausted, you've watched TV, and then you go upstairs to go or downstairs to go to bed or wherever you go to bed, and leave it. That's about the time the dog could go creeping into finding all the little snacky things that are all over, and those are the things you do not want to wake up with a nightmare. Thank you. Amani, you are friends with the holidays comes food and entertainment and guests, and a lot of times you're going to be carrying a paper plate and you're going to be having something to drink. It's very important that you're able to, if you got your dog in someone's home and having them leashed is okay. It's not a bad deal to have your dog on a leash in someone else's home. You've got to be careful for them that they're not getting all tangled up or causing trouble, but you have a lot more control, at least in the beginning of the relationships of the dogs being in the home by having them on leash. What you've got here is we're going to play a game. I've got a paper plate with treats on them. They're dog treats, so they should be paying attention to them a little bit more than human treats. Well, probably not, because what are dogs interested in at Christmas? Yes, all the human treats, all those lovely appetizers we have that we never make otherwise. I want you to be very careful with your dog. Too much fat during the holidays can lead to pancreatitis. That could end up with your dog being in the hospital, and that's not a place you want your dog or the holidays to finish at. So watch out if you've got dogs that are going to be snuck treats by people, which you know it's going to happen. Just plan on it. Make a dog bowl. Make a dog bowl that's just a bowl just for them that has their own treats in them, and cut them into tiny little pieces and let people know that if you're going to feed my dog, these are the treats my dog has to have. And you could say it's for my dog's health, because the reality is, you're not lying, it is for their health that you're feeding them exactly what they should be eating instead of what they shouldn't be eating. So we're going to take a practice, and we're going to just walk our dog. Mary, I'm going to have you walk Tegan first, and then I'm going to have Cindy walk Tessa. Just walk across and just practice one walk across. And Tegan's very interested in the dog toy. Yeah.
Tegan, walk. Come on, walk. Walk. Come on, all the way.
Okay, and Cindy?
Let's go.
Very nice. Okay, Mary, here is a plate of treats for you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to hand you a plate of treats too. Thank you. All right, and this time, Mary, I want you to walk across again with the treats and just see how stable you're able to hold those treats.
Tegan, walk. Tegan, walk. Walk.
Okay, and Cindy, come on with Tess.
Tessa, let's go.
Awesome.
I know you're
All right, this time, Cindy, I'm going to let you go first, but I'm going to give you a glass, and I'm going to give you a glass, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, now when you're holding liquids, you've got to remember that if you tip it this way, now we didn't put any water in there, but if you put water in or juice, it's going to fall out. And if it falls out, or the bottom falls off the glass, which can happen because these are, or the glass falls off.
This is fun, huh? Yeah.
So it's good we didn't put anything in there yet. So Cindy, walk with Tessa and walk with the glass.
Okay, Tessa, let's go.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, this is an exercise you can use really easily while you're walking your dog. You don't have to use it in the house. You can practice in the house, but it's a good exercise for children to work with. It's also a good exercise to take on the road. You can take the paper plate, carry their treats on it, walk with them, and see how much nicer they walk when they've got a plate of treats that they're looking forward to getting. However, when you have your treats on them, they're not going to be getting them. So unless you have your little bowl of dog food that's filled with dog treats specifically for dogs, my recommendation is that you have a dog bowl that has treats in it, specifically for your dog, cut to size, exactly the size you want your dog to eat. Honey, look what I got. You know what we're going to do with this?
What would a dog think?
What would a dog think? I don't know. What happened to Moose?
He got torn apart.
He got torn apart. Well, wouldn't it be fun to have all this under the Christmas tree?
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be fun to have all this on the mantle and in every other little place you can with those really expensive houses you and I can't afford? And what would I do if I was a dog?
Whip it up.
I would rip it up. I would take that stuff because it's so fun and it would make my whole house snowy. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we have to teach a leave it for this too, don't we? We do. Okay. Monty, guess what I have here? Do you like this stuff?
Yes.
I like this stuff too. What do you like to do with it?
Pop it.
I do too. I love popping this stuff just like that. I love popping this stuff. But you know what? Guess who else likes popping it?
Who?
Doggies. Doggies like popping this. The problem with doggies popping it is guess what happens?
gets all over the place.
It gets all over the place, and they can also tear it and get pieces in their tummy. So if the doggies are popping this stuff, I want you guys to be very careful and be right next to them, because you do not want any of this plastic to go into a doggy tummy, do you? No. So be really careful with things that are wrapped up. These are easy to be snuck off my. They can steal this stuff so fast. Just go shoop. Just steal it, and then it's gone. And guess where it is? Hiding in some place with the doggy. You know what else they can do? They can do that with this too. This paper. You know what doggies like to grab more than anything? Toilet paper, paper towels, and Kleenexes. Nasty, yucky Kleenexes. They will grab those, and this is a lot like that. So again, what we want to do is we want to pick those up and put them away so the doggies don't get them, because you know what? If they get those in their tummy, not good either. So you wouldn't eat this, would you? No, I wouldn't eat that either, but you know what? A doggy would eat it. They can learn things. Watch this. Okay, we're going to work on leave it. And what I've got is I've got a handful of treats and one. Leave it. Good girl. Yes. So this is a handful. Leave it. Leave it. Good girl. So she has to make the choice to leave the hand with all the yummies. Leave it. Good girl. Good thinking. Leave it. Yes. Pot of soup boiled over. You could handle 10 other things, and then something happens that just makes you go. Well, I don't know if you've had that happen, but I definitely have had that happen. So let's talk about what could happen to a dog and to a kid. So dog is eating, and for the whole life of the dog, the parents have said, don't play with the dog when the dog eats. So no one has ever touched the dog when the dog's eating, okay? And so the dog knows that this is my own space, and I am not going to be bothered here. Now, personally, especially when I have a puppy and I like to play with the dog's food as the owner and teach the dog that it's okay for me as the owner to get into that dog dish and feed it by hand and give it some hand treats. Right out of the dog, just pick up the dish and say, oh, here's one, have another one, here you go, oh, good boy. Oh, I found another one. And then in the dish that I'm holding on to, guess what's in there? Cookies, some kind of treat. It never happens when the dog's just eating his own dish by himself. But whenever mom picks up that dog bowl, there's cookies in there. Something is in there that I find in that dish. So it's looking forward to me picking up the dish. I do that as an owner to prevent if a child comes by the dog when it's eating. But many, many dogs are not safe when they're eating. And it's because you say, oh, watch out. The dog is eating, leave the dog alone. So dog is eating. A 3-year-old child has a toy that makes noise, and he's having a fun time, and he's been outside, and this noise is going beep, 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 okay? And the dog dish has spilled water. Now what happens is, picture this scenario. The kid is running in the house, slides on the water face first into the dog dish and hits the dog's dish while the dog is eating. Exactly. The dog reacts startled, the child gets bit, stitches are in the child, the dog is put down. The child is traumatized by the dog. Those situations, which were 3 things together, are what caused that bite. One of those by themselves, everybody could have handled it. But put together, it became a dangerous situation. When there's small children around, when life gets out of control and hectic, if things are escalated in your home, give the dog time out for a nap. My guys know the word nap time. It's a special thing, and I just say, oh, nap time, let's go. Everybody goes down for a nap, and down they're sleeping. They like nap time. Sometimes I need one too. Take time out for the dog. Give the dog space to have it. And if kids are running around the house in a wild and crazy way, keep an eye on both. You won't be sorry. We just want to say, have a great New Year.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.